Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa, and it's hashtag Friday Feels, and we have got an expert, Ms. Gina Hendrix, in the house back with us today. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Stop being a bitch and get a boyfriend.
There it is.
You know, bam, that's how you go.
Okay.
How do you really feel?
Around the bush.
Yes.
How do you feel?
No, okay.
You know, we had you on the show a couple weeks ago. It was so inspiring, you know, to learn about what you do as a matchmaker and how you've really mastered love, but you've put it in this book.
Yes, so yes, I did.
But it is so amply titled, Just Stop Being a Bitch and Get a Boyfriend.
Right, okay. So first let me clarify here, please, if I might. You know, the book is not, you know, it's a title that I came up with because I've said it to myself in the past, quite frankly. You know, it's like, Gina, just stop being a bitch and get a boyfriend. Because talking about habits and rituals, right? We fall into these things by accident, personality traits that don't suit us. And sometimes it's bitchy. Sometimes in the book I talk about a myriad of different character traits we take on. So it could be you're too picky. It could be that you get too frisky on a date too soon, or you drink too much. But these are the habits that we fall into that just are not serving us. So that's really what the book is about.
So true, right?
You've got 16 different kind of personality types, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Talk to us a little bit about that, because you kind of just did, I guess.
Yeah, so,
But yeah.
I mean, so I think one of the most common ones for women a lot of times is what I call in the book the mama bitch, which it means, you know, we get with, we'll choose a man, and this is a huge mistake. Men make it too, but we will get with a person and we want to fix them up. Like, we want to fix their lives. We're not accepting them as they are. We're like, well, he's cute, I like him, but if he had a better job, or if he
tweak this,
or if he was more affectionate with me, or whatever it is. And
I gave up giving up. I'm not doing the fixer-uppers anymore.
No?
Right.
Yeah, no,
but
done.
we all do it at some point, don't we? You did.
Oh,
do it.
I was the
Right,
worst, the
right,
worst.
Right, and me as well. I've
Doesn't
done it.
work
I
out
mean,
so well.
most of
I've
us
done
have.
it.
Yes, exactly. So, you know, so there's that one. I think that's a really common one. And then if you're an independent woman, which most of us are these days, career ladies, you know, we fall into this other one that's like bossy bitch. So a lot of times I find with, you know, my guys, my male clients that I work with for matchmaking, they're powerful, smart, high achievers. And they don't want a woman who's a wallflower, right? They want a woman who's smart and high achieving and a lot, but there's a balance, and you never want to take over. And a lot of times, women, because we have to kind of, I don't want to say steamroll, I just did, but because we have to be large and in charge to run our businesses and run our lives, a lot of times that crosses over into the personal with the guys, and guys don't like that.
It can be hard to shift gears, you know,
Very hard to shift
all day
gears.
if you're really trying to run your business, run your life.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you need to, you know, downshift, if you
Right.
will, and be like, oh, now let me get into my feminine self.
Well, so that could be a good place.
The facial expression was everything. You just nailed
And
it.
it's
Yeah,
not
you nailed
fair,
it.
but it's true. And so this is another good way to frame this whole topic today, which is, you know, you fall into these habits of, you know, taking over. Let's change the restaurant. Let's change the plan. But you should get into, if you're going on a date, you should get into a ritual, which is now, you know, you're going on a date. So you drop the bossy habit. You're not the boss. You get into a ritual where maybe you light candles as you get ready for the date.
Bow, chicka, bow, bow, you know, you can say.
That's interesting.
And you switch gears that way.
I
So that you're
Making
more
that a
aware
ritual.
of it. Yeah.
Okay, I could try this.
See?
I think that's fantastic, and sometimes we call it segment intending.
Yeah.
That
There you
with
go.
every new segment of the day, you try to get crystal clear about what your intention is for that segment.
Right.
What you're most deeply wanting to optimize for in that
Yes, I
segment.
love
Like
it.
Instagram
Yes.
stories, the segments of the day.
Yeah.
And see it coming
Right.
out.
Because I think that too many times we do things unconsciously. You know, we don't want to be a lot of these personality traits that I list in the book. We don't want to be a mama to a man, because how unsexy is that, right? We don't want to be bossy. We certainly don't want to, you know, be insecure or neurotic or all these things. So I think that how to not be, and I talk a lot about balance, because I think that's the key to any relationship of any kind, is maintaining a balance. You don't want to be at 0 and you don't want to be at 100. You want to have that happy middle ground where you're sane and you're making, you know, good choices.
Oh, sanity. Love sanity.
But, just to play like a little devil's advocate.
Yes.
So, if
You
you
come
were,
up with great questions,
if
and
you're
I love it.
able to read all these books, years ago it was how to be a bitch to get a guy, and now we're trying to not be a bitch to get a guy.
Right.
So it's like, where in this is the place where a woman or a man just gets authentic with themselves? Because some people are intense personalities and they try and turn it off because they're not supposed to be that in a relationship, and maybe they're authentically like that. I'm not saying they should be or whatever, but where's that place where someone just finds what is authentic for them? Because what I've heard from personality experts is that the more you are pretty much the same in your dynamic throughout the day, is actually people that are most successful generally stay the same. I mean, they change a little bit in the dynamic of obviously intimacy versus a business meeting, but their general personality stays the same throughout the day.
Right. So what's your question?
The question is, it's confusing to know I take on this role or I'm this, like all these different personalities, when really maybe I should just get in touch with my authentic personality.
Well, but let's look at it like this. Let's frame it like this. So if you're a mom, right, you're not changing your personality with your child or with your husband, but certainly you're going to be treating your child differently than you treat your husband. Do you know what I mean? You're still going to be you, but you're in charge in a way, and you have to look. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm saying? I think you can be authentically yourself. I'm authentically myself, but I wear different hats,
It's a great question, and I think about it because I think about the root, like personality, I think of the root, persona, and it being a mask. And so a lot of spiritual teachers would say there is no authentic personality. They're all masked. And at the deepest level, there is no personality. It's just something that you, like anything else, you use in certain moments for a certain effect because it's an instrument.
Sure.
And so it's being as clear as you can about what instrument makes the most sense and feels most authentic to you in that moment, and calibrating and recalibrating according to the audience.
I mean, I think what I tell people, more than even relationships, I think you have to find your happiness. And so if you're happy, then that's really the key. That's the answer, right? So, but I think in terms of the book and in terms of what we're talking about, habits and rituals here, I think that, a lot of times when I deal with women, if they come to me and they want my advice, Gina, I've been single a long time, and why can't I, close the deal? And these guys, well, then I think you have to take an honest look at yourself. Then something is not serving you. What is it?
Yeah.
Is it that you're bitchy, or is it that you're too insecure, or you're too needy? And men do these things too, but this book is for women. But I think that, taking an honest look, and if you're happy, listen, if you're happy being a bitch, and you're happy being freaky and sleeping with every guy in the world, good for you. But does that make you happy? So I think that's where you find your authentic self, is wherever your happiness is.
And I would just chime in and say that empirically, mean people generally are unhappy. Right? If you're mean, you're unhappy. That's just empirically tends to be the truth.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
generally, you're not going to be mean if you're happy.
Right.
So being a happy bitch is really not.
It's not.
I don't think that goes hand in hand. I do not.
I love it. Well, we love you. And I think that what is so great about you is that you're really authentic. Like you want the best for everyone, but at the same time, you're like, let's get real.
Right.
And sometimes it takes just getting kind of real before people do the deeper work. And a lot of people just are really unconscious to even realize that they're just being, like they complain all the time on all their dates. So of course, no one's going to really want to stick around.
And I think a lot of times, as women, we again fall into these, single women dating, right? Fall into these habits of, we get in this world where we're just texting and we're always on our phone. And I think a lot of times we need to put the phone completely away. Or a lot of times we need to have better follow through to follow up with people better. And I think that a lot of times we get sucked into these habits that don't serve us well, which is having the phone out all the time, or just not even getting back to people or responding, because we're so used to sort of blowing people off in this busy, busy world we live in. But I think that in order to find a great guy and be your best self, you have to have your authenticity, you have to be happy, and you have to look at the habits that aren't serving you.
It's true.
Yeah.
I have some girlfriends that they're always on their Instagram and story whenever you do anything. And I think the guys that are going to go on a date with you may not be so into Instagram, and it's just not fun. Like
Right.
to be on a date taking someone out for
Right.
whatever, and then you're Instagramming every 5 minutes.
Well, and on that note about Instagram, I have a few girls. They're like, Gina, do you have a date for me? Gina, do you have a great guy for me? Because I work with some great guys, fortunately for me. But if the guy gets a peek at a girl's Instagram, like somebody in particular, and she's just all about her ass all over Instagram, I'm just going to say it. I can't set that girl up, and I've had to have those talks. It's you can't get some sort of great, classy guy if you're not presenting that image on your social media.
But you get a lot of
gotta
likes.
keep that-
Get a lot of likes.
And Instagram's
What do you
fire.
want?
Instagram game is fire.
Or likes.
Instagram game.
If you want a great guy, you've got to factor all that in. And I don't think a lot of girls are really
I know.
factoring all that in these days.
It is a great point that you sort of want to be the person or be like the person you want to date
Yeah,
in that way,
you
right?
do.
So you want to sort of embody those qualities that you want to see in the person that would show up for you in your
Yes, you got to keep it
sure.
classy. If you want a classy guy,
Yeah.
I mean, you
Keep
get
it
what
classy.
you put out there, right?
Keep it classy.
Keep it
That's a
classy.
good one. Mhm.
I love that.
Just love
Well,
it.
thank you so much for
Yeah,
being with
thanks
us.
for
I
having
can't
me.
wait to read this. Yes, Mom, I will read this weekend. I will stop being a bitch and get a boyfriend. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.